Some of the biggest news to come out of the 2026 Comic-Con was that we are finally getting a Ghost Rider movie in the MCU, starring Ryan Gosling. And I hope you're ready because Ghost Rider is freaking awesome. But before we get into that, go ahead and leave your answers down in the comments below to this superhero question. If you were the Ghost Rider, what vehicle would you use for transportation? Johnny Blaze had his motorcycle, Robbie Reyes had his car. What would you have? So what exactly makes Ghost Rider so awesome? Well, besides the fact that he has a flaming skull for a head, which is freaking cool, the Ghost Rider is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. Well, for starters, Ghost Rider has the basic superpower formula, which is another way of saying that he has a combination of super strength, speed, durability, reflexes, and stamina. On top of that, Ghost Rider is also nigh invulnerable, like it is nearly impossible to hurt him. Ghost Rider is able to take hits from strong beings like the Hulk. He had his entire skull completely shattered, only for it to just regenerate instantly. This guy feels no pain. The only way to truly hurt the Ghost Rider is to attack him with divine weapons. Ghost Rider can also generate hellfire, which is a supernatural flame that scorches and purifies the wicked souls of both mortals and immortals. In other words, very hot magic fire. He can shoot hellfire from his hands, eyes, and mouth. He can use it to imbue weapons with hellfire, so if he has a sword, best believe he's making a flaming sword. He can create constructs with the hellfire, so walls, weapons, or even vehicles. And he can create a hellfire rainstorm. Insurance doesn't cover that. The Ghost Rider is a supernatural bounty hunter of sorts, so that means he's able to sense any supernatural activity around him, and he can sense the sins on a person's soul. But one of Ghost Rider's coolest powers is his ride symbiosis, because Ghost Riders have a deep connection to their means of transportation, and in this Ghost Rider's case, the one that Ryan Gosling will be playing, it's his motorcycle, or as it's called in the comics, his hell cycle, which he can imbue with hellfire. It can drive on any surface, shoot out chains, or even drive by itself. It's awesome. And on the flip side, the Ghost Rider's most terrifying power has to be his Penance Stare. The Penance Stare is when a victim looks into the Ghost Rider's eyes and they can see and feel every bit of pain they've ever inflicted on anyone in their lifetime. This could lead to the victim being left in an extremely depressive state, or if they're not strong enough to handle it, could even lead to their death. Now you might be thinking, Alex, the Ghost Rider doesn't sound like a hero, like why is he even a thing? Let me take a sip and I'll get to that. But before I talk about Ghost Rider and the character that Ryan Gosling is supposed to play, I gotta explain to you first the concept of a Ghost Rider. So Ghost Riders are also known as spirits of vengeance, and their origins are mostly unknown, but it's believed that the spirits of vengeance are vestiges of God's wrath. And they're designed to fight supernatural and satanic threats, purify sin, and punish the guilty for their mistreatment towards the innocent and undeserving. It's believed that they were created back when God had first flooded the earth, and he made the rainbow to promise humanity that he'll never crash out like that again. But then he kept witnessing humanity just being horrible, and he was starting to crash out. But instead of flooding everyone again, he created the spirits of vengeance to do his dirty work for him. And the true origin of the spirits of vengeance were kept a secret so no one would know that he broke his promise. Now, the first Ghost Rider that we meet in Marvel Comics, and the one that Ryan Gosling is supposed to play in the MCU movie, is Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze was the adopted son of stunt performers, and he was a very talented stunt performer himself. But by the age of 17, his adopted mother had died in a failed stunt, and his adopted father developed terminal cancer. Superhero rule. Still grieving the loss of his mother and refusing to live with the ideal without his father, Johnny started studying the occult, trying to see if there was a magical way to save his father's life. Johnny eventually found a spell to summon Satan, and he planned on trading away his soul to cure his father. But when he performed the spell, Satan didn't show up. Someone else did. And that someone was the demon Mephisto. Mephisto agreed to cure Johnny's father in exchange for Johnny to serve Mephisto faithfully, and at the time of his death, his soul would spend eternity in Mephisto's realm.
I'll make that deal. How about you, Udovich? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
And Mephisto, true to his word, cured Johnny's father, but then he immediately died in a failed stunt. Superhero rule, again. After his father's death, Johnny transformed into the Ghost Rider for the first time, and Mephisto intended on using Johnny to hunt down other demons, mortals, just whoever Mephisto wanted dead. But Johnny Blaze, now Ghost Rider, basically said, that guy, and instead used his newfound powers to punish the wicked, inconvenience Mephisto at every possible opportunity, and just look frickin' sick on a motorcycle. The MCU Ghost Rider movie is projected to release in 2028, starring Ryan Gosling as Johnny Blaze, and I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's a fantastic actor. But can he pull off being Ghost Rider? I don't know. I don't really see him in that role, but he is a good actor, so maybe he'll surprise me. But for now, I'm gonna hold my excitement because years ago, they casted Mahershala Ali as Blade, and then that movie fell through. Like, we're not getting it anymore. So until we actually see a trailer for Ghost Rider, I'm just gonna hold back a little bit. And even then, I want them to do a Blade movie first before we get to Ghost Rider. Like, Mahershala Ali at least deserves that respect. But now it's time to discuss your answers to the superhero question. If you were a Ghost Rider, what type of transportation would you use? If I was the Ghost Rider, my mode of transportation would be Heelys. I'm a millennial. When we were kids, Heelys were the freaking rage, and they were so cool. And like, looking back on it now, they look kind of ridiculous, but could you imagine how awesome and hilarious it would be to see me as the Ghost Rider and I'm just on my heels hecka fast, like I kind of want that now. But what do you think of Ghost Rider? Where does he rank on your favorite superhero list? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and shoot hellfire at the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you missed my previous video where I talked about Doctor Doom, go ahead and click on the box right here, and I'll see you in a bit.